Today on the CTV News at 5, tragic ending, how a southern Alberta senior died while going for a Sunday afternoon drive. Plus, could more changes be on the way for the Lethbridge Hurricanes?
CTV News with Jackie Scantlebury.
We are learning more tonight about a Sunday drive that ended in tragedy near the Crow's Nest Pass. 71-year-old Franklin Keane was out for a drive with his wife Lynn and another woman when their 4x4 got stuck in some deep snow. Now, Franklin went looking for help wearing running shoes and a light jacket. He hadn't returned by Monday morning. The two women decided to try to walk to safety. They were rescued by some off-duty snowmobilers who were off-duty firefighters, snowmobiling in the area, and they found Franklin's body. It's believed he was overcome by the elements after trudging 15 kilometers, braving deep snow and a cold wind. Terry Vogt spoke with some of Franklin's friends today.
It was a day trip to the mountains that ended in tragedy.
It's a surprise that they were able to get as far into that road. The conditions for snow was incredible.
3 Granham area seniors were driving on an isolated forestry road north of the Crow's Nest Pass when their 4x4 slid off the road and got stuck. 71-year-old Franklin Keane tried to walk for help, leaving his wife Lynn and another friend in the truck. It's believed he was overcome by the elements after trudging 15 kilometers through deep snow and a cold wind.
Their clothing was just not the type of clothing for traveling or hiking in those conditions.
He was a great guy, well known in the community.
Friends aren't surprised that Keane didn't stay with the vehicle. They say he was stubborn enough to try and get help.
He will look after the ladies. That's the man he is. He will make sure the ladies were okay, and he was trying to get help for them. And he thought he could go, but he didn't make it. Very sad, very sad.
At the Granham Community Centre, residents talk fondly of Keane, a past town foreman and also retired crop duster. They say he built a small 2-seater plane and turned a Greyhound bus into a motorhome.
Shorty, it's his nickname. He's the kind of guy that was up first thing in the morning, always out doing something.
His wife Lynn was former postmistress in Granham. She didn't want to go on camera but told me she's lucky to be alive. Local residents say the Keanes were not only active in the community, they were also very active people, that they liked taking trips and were always out and about. They say Franklin's death is a loss to the community.
What can you say? I mean, just sad.
Terry Vogt, CTV News, Granham.
Our CMPs say when traveling in the mountains, people should always be prepared for changing and unpredictable weather conditions. And they also say you should let family or friends know which route you're planning on taking and when you're expected to return home. That way, if something happens, police will know where to search. A preliminary hearing date has now been set for a Lethbridge police constable who's been charged with assaulting a man while on duty. It's been set over for a while now. 38-year-old David Easter is facing 1 count of assault causing bodily harm in connection with an incident in May of 2012, while Constable Easter was conducting a traffic stop in downtown Lethbridge. Constable Easter has now asked for a preliminary hearing to be set for September. And if you found it slow going on Highway 2 yesterday afternoon, this could be why. A semi-truck and trailer unit flipped on the highway near Cayley. As you can see, the semi completely blocked vehicles in the northbound lanes, which ended up causing delays in both directions. Somehow, the semi driver walked away without any injuries, thanks to Kip Barnes for the photo. Well, here's something we haven't really seen a lot of, Dory. We could see some thunderstorms coming.
Yeah, there is a small chance, and as the hours pass, Jackie, it gets smaller and smaller. Been watching the charts, and things are looking a little more stable than what we even thought 6 hours ago. So right now, there still is that chance of seeing some late-day thundershower activity tomorrow, but all in all, temperatures for the next stretch looking pretty good. I'll give you all the details in a couple of minutes.
Thank you, Dory. Well, there could be even bigger changes on the way for the Lethbridge Hurricanes. A potential ownership group has come forward hoping to purchase the WHL team. CTV has learned that a potential buyer has made contact with the team's governor to make his intentions known. The Hurricanes have been a community-owned franchise for the past 25 years. Just yesterday, it was announced head coach and general manager Rich Preston was fired with a year left on his contract, and that the contracts would not be renewed for either assistant coach. Preston failed to deliver playoff hockey in Lethbridge, missing the postseason in all 4 years of his tenure. Now, Daryl Rummold is at the NMAX Center and has been following this for us. Daryl, this begs the question, is the team even up for sale?
Yeah, that's just it. This team isn't for sale. And in fact, I was told that when this ownership group came to the governor of the organization and made their intentions clear, they were told unequivocally, no, this team is not for sale. And it came as a bit of a surprise when I spoke to the president of the organization, Brian McNaughton, earlier this morning. He said it was the first that he'd heard of it when I'd called him. And here's what he had to say on whether or not the organization should be sold.
Totally catches me by surprise. It's the first I've heard about it. So I have no background. But obviously this has come up here and again, and every time our answer is the same, that the team is not for sale. And right now we've gone through a bit of a downturn the last 3 years financially, but we've turned that around, and the franchise is in good shape and solid right now.
Well, while the president says that this team might be in better financial standing than they have been in recent years, they have lost a lot of money over the last 3-4 years, upwards of about $1.5 million. Add to that the $175,000 they budgeted for in the hole this year, and the $160,000 that they're going to have to pay to GM and head coach Rich Preston after he was let go yesterday. Who is this group? Well, they're not ready to come forward, they say, just yet. They want to have all the pieces in place to do so and follow the process appropriately. What they have said is they are not interested in moving this team in any shape or form. They want to involve people from Lethbridge and Southern Alberta with valuable hockey experience. And obviously there's a lot more to this story. We're going to continue to follow this and hopefully have more for you in the next couple of days. Back to you, Jackie.
Okay, thanks, Daryl. Now, despite their recent postseason playoff slump, the Hurricanes have launched the NHL careers of some of the likes of Jamie McLennan, Brent Seabrook, Chris Versteeg, and more recently Zach Boychuk and Lucas Ziba. Now, 2 Southern Alberta school boards are throwing their support behind a tentative teachers plan. The Lethbridge Public School Board and Palliser School Division have voted in favor of the deal at this point. However, some larger school boards in the province, like public school boards in Calgary and Edmonton, have given it the thumbs down. Now, when the proposed deal was first announced, the Minister of Education was clear that every board in the province would have to agree to the terms of the deal. Teachers have until May 13th to vote. The cancellation of a summer employment program has taken the song and dance out of the Fort Macleod musical ride, a major Southern Alberta tourist attraction. The Fort Macleod Historical Association says the Alberta government's decision to cut all the funding to the Student Temporary Employment Program has come as a shock to the community. The association expects to lose $22,000, which is used to put on the Northwest Mounted Patrol music ride demonstration. The ride attracts about 20,000 tourists each summer. It also provides 12 jobs for youth across Southern Alberta. The Historical Association says the economic blow is expected to be about $1.2 million.
It's part of our culture and our nature, our heritage here. It's good for all of Southern Alberta because people come down specifically to see the ride, and then they go out and explore other areas of the province. So the tourism dollars that are going to be missing from this is going to be a real blow to the community and to the south.
The Historical Association says that it plans to pound the pavement looking for other sponsors to keep the ride going, but they say the timing of the provincial cuts are going to make that difficult. Under normal circumstances, they would acquire and start training the horses in mid-April. A not-for-profit consulting company created by the Tunaha First Nation is up for a big award. The Tunaha Kinbasket Child and Family Training and Consulting Company is one of 3 chosen by the Enterprising Heroes event as a Best Social Enterprise in BC. As Kimberly Davidson explains, the company was born out of the Society's success in reducing the number of children in foster care.
Several years ago, the Tunaha Kinbasket Child and Family Services Society set out to reduce the number of children in foster care. Angie Louie works for the society, and she also knows what it's like to be a foster child.
I didn't get to grow up around my family, and I grew up in homes that were non-native, and I always felt like an outsider. For the longest time, I just felt like luggage getting passed around.
So the society worked to develop new techniques in social work, focusing on keeping Aboriginal children in their communities and helping families find their own solutions to family issues.
We actually get the voice of the children, we talk to them and ask them what they would like to see, and then we do our best to try and make that happen.
The ideas worked. The number of Ktunaxa children in foster care is now half of what it once was. And over the past 3 years, 70% of families that have had one child protection incident have not had a second.
And people started to notice and ask questions about what we've been doing. So we ended up starting a company under our nonprofit that to help other agencies around British Columbia learn how to do social work in a different way so that we can keep families at home.
The training and consulting company has put on over a dozen training sessions in its first year of business.
Mostly it's other Aboriginal agencies that are like ourselves. But we have had some very mainstream systems, government systems from Alberta and British Columbia that have been interested in us. And we've also had the opportunity to travel to tribes in Arizona and California this last year.
And as a social enterprise, all of the profits from the training and consulting company go back to the Ktunaxa Kinbasket Child and Family Services Society. Kimberly Davidson, CTV News, Cranbrook.
The top 3 not-for-profit companies in BC compete tonight for a $60,000 prize. Each group will present to 4 judges, Dragon's Den style, and it will be shown on live stream at www.socialenterpriseheroes.ca, 7 o'clock tonight. Coming up, Dora's going to tell us more about this great forecast that's on the way. First, though, the day's markets.